Bienvenidos de nuevo a otro episodio de Sipde MX. En esta ocasión tenemos un programa especial, las ventajas que tenemos en México para Equipo. Comenzamos. Muy bien, muchachones. ¿Quién mejor para que nos pueda poner en contraste de las ventajas que tenemos en México al respecto de Equipo que Ross Pinkus? Vamos a cambiar ahorita a inglés para hablar un poquito acerca de esto y para nuestros fans que son de Estados Unidos o cualquiera que vea este video sepa cuestiones interesantes acerca de México. So Rob, I was telling the guys that we have some advantages on here than some people national and foreign that are not aware of. So.
Yeah, so first of all, it's a pleasure to be here. We've run a couple of classes. I have almost no idea what you say when you speak Spanish, so I appreciate you doing this in English. Whenever I travel internationally, and this is my first time, thanks to your invitation, teaching here in Mexico. Of course, I've been to Mexico before. Love the country, love to hang out tourist-wise. Now it's great to teach here. But whenever I travel internationally to Europe, to Africa, now to Mexico, people show up in my comments or friends in the industry and they say, whoa, they have guns outside of the US? You know, it's like, yes, other places have firearms, and it's always a little different, but one of the things that's really important to remember is that in the US, our states are very different in some cases. You know, we now have half of our states. We have 25 states, probably soon it will be more than half, where, for example, if you can legally own a gun, you can legally carry the gun. You don't need the permit anymore. And that's a big change over the last 30 years. But then other states have gotten a little bit more restrictive. Like we think about Washington State is an example that recently has become very restrictive. Virginia, over the last few years, has had a lot of attempts at gun control. Even Florida, which is generally a very pro-gun, gun-friendly state, has had people enact some new laws that weren't incredibly bad, but try to get some very bad laws passed. Meanwhile, you have other places that are expanding their rules. So in the US, if you think about it, we're very used to different rules in different places. Come to Mexico, there's different rules here, but it's interesting to be here and see that there's a lot less restriction on what can be owned and what can be used in terms of the actual equipment compared to some states like, you know, New York, New Jersey, California in the US.
Yeah, exactly. So for instance, let's start about some things, the items you can have in your year legally. In some places from Europe and all around the world, I didn't knew that till now. It's illegal even to own Kevlar armor, you know, like helmets or vests and all that. Kevlar, which is only stops pistol rounds of the 44 Magnum. Here in Mexico, you can have Aramid, steel, whatever you want, up to letter 4. So you can, you know, to stop a 30-06 bullet. So there's no restrictions on body armor whatsoever, whether it's helmets, whatever. We actually sell body armor in our store, and it's one advantage, I believe, huge advantage.
It's interesting, you know, even in the US, in some places, there's always a talk about, you know, oh, we need to ban body armor because anybody with body armor must want to rob a bank or something, right? It's kind of ridiculous. And it's not just, you know, the military-looking thing. I mean, I travel, you know, whenever I travel, I always try to carry body armor with me. And so, like, when I was going through customs coming in to Mexico, the guy was kind of going through the bag, and I don't know if he even knew what this was, but obviously it says body armor on it. So, is it legal? Is it not legal? Was he going to give me a hard time? You know, but he was more interested in just kind of looking at my flashlights, honestly. But I always do try to have the body armor panels very low profile, right? I'm not wearing kit per se, but I think body armor is something that when you're traveling internationally, just like a medical kit, a flashlight, you know, improvised ways to lock and block doors, things like that, that everybody can have. That's not a gun that makes you safer. And it's important to understand that there are some places in the world where you can't have it, and it's so clearly a defensive piece of gear, but people think, oh, well, if you have that, you must want to fight with the police, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah, and talking about the IFAC stuff, for instance, in the US, this is my personal IFAC I carry on the truck, and when I'm in the shooting classes, I carry always my leg or my body armor, whatever. Also, usually I carry an AFAC, which is a such as a rock. But anyway, in the US, if you wanna buy some like this, which goes inside your body, this is a decompressed needle, or nasopharyngeal, to get some airway, you need to be an EMT certified or a physician in order to sell this. You cannot get these ones as a civilian in the US. But here in Mexico, yes, you can. I mean, there's no restrictions at all at this kind of medical gear. I mean, it's expensive, it's hard to get, but it's here, and there's no restrictions about it. So yeah.
And a lot of people have, simple, they carry the number 4 gauge, decompression needle. But the important thing to remember is always with this kind of gear have the training as well. Right?
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that one of the reasons I took the chance and trusted and come down here. It's been a great experience. I know that you are passionate about the education and training to go with any of this equipment, including obviously the firearms.
Yeah, of course, which is now where we're gonna go. Just before that, also in less lethal options, there is some states, I believe, or countries where it's illegal, or you need an extra permit to carry some less lethal ways, such as a taser. Right here in Mexico, you need to have a special permit to bring those to the country, to import through customs. But once it's here, there is no restriction at all, and you can carry, even as a taser pulse, which is the civilian version of the X26, same technology, cartridges and whatever, or pepper spray, that kind of stuff, you can carry without any kind of permit here in Mexico. No restrictions, just only bayonets, and some daggers.
Don't put a bayonet on your
taser.
Yeah. So this is again a great tool. It's a great alternative means for defense, and I've been a taser instructor, and I've been a big believer in tasers used appropriately. And it is cool. Like there are some states, again, even pepper spray. I remember like Massachusetts. It was a big win for personal defense, and it only happened maybe like 5 years ago that pepper spray was legal to be carried, which is
wow.
So it gets interesting.
I didn't know that. One thing though I know, it's that in the US, some agencies regulate the amount of OC, the percentage of OC that can be.
The actual acting agent in the pepper spray.
And I believe it's something around 4%, something like that.
I don't know the numbers, but I do know that there's some marketed as bear spray, that can be higher in its concentration because it's meant for bears and not for people. And I guess, hey, maybe if I'm in certain cities, a bear could escape from the zoo, so I'm carrying bear spray.
Yeah. Somebody told me about 4%. Somebody told me about something like that. Here we have in Mexico, there's no regulation at all, so you can have like a chemical bomb.
To be fair, I'm pretty sure like some of the food I've seen here is 4% already. So
right.
It's not going to help.
Of course, to defend yourself, you need we usually have, and we sell, I don't bring from the store, but we sell, it's 12 to 15%, and when we use training classes with it, I put it on the side, which is 30 meters away, and the length comes even to this area, so it's very powerful and it's very useful, one pepper spray, and you need no permit whatsoever to carry it.
Esta historia continuará.